them in the south, we will beat them in the east, here in the east, and we will beat them in the west. So the party's survival is assured, but only when you remain at the heart of this party. Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you as the Minister of Education to talk about the gains of the PNM and the gains it has made in education, where we are going and why we are going there. You will hear about the gains we continue to make. The story of education is as old as the PNM itself. In 1955, this new party of homegrown nationals who understood the power of education came out on a night, very much like tonight, to talk to the people about education. In that crowd was my mother, your father, just like all of you standing here. And since she never left me alone with anybody, I was there too. Yes, I was there in 1955. There would have been a man on this platform talking about education, painting a vision of lives that could be changed by education. And that man would have been Eric Williams. Back in 1956, Eric Williams and the PNM's vision was that our education must seek to shape a creative, innovative being who is prepared to evolve solutions to problems for himself. Since Williams, every successive PNM administration, the present one included, has sought to ensure that the education system provides education and training for all our citizens, to ensure that the values and skills relevant to the achievement of individual as well as national development needs are instilled. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the simple purpose of education. Ladies and gentlemen, in 1956, the budget spent on education was $10.5 million. In 2008, the expenditure was $3.7 billion. Each year since 1956, the PNM has done more to reform the education landscape in Trinidad and Tobago, which today has been driven by the larger vision of government to transform this country into a developed nation by the year 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, what I like to call the quiet revolution has been underway in Trinidad and Tobago education system. This quiet revolution has begun to transform Trinidad and Tobago's approach to education in a way that already produces young people who are smarter, faster, and better able to cope with the world than the people of my generation ever were. I don't know about you, but my son's math homework was beyond me by the time he got to Form 3. Some of us might have to go back to school to help our children these days. But seriously, it was not until I was at university that I realized that my mother stopped school at primary school. I never could tell, not from the way she would check my homework to point out what I missed out, nor when I did foolishness and throw away a mark. And even when I was at university, she was still there, up at 3 in the morning with me to make coffee while I studied. I needed encouragement then, and all children need encouragement today. Let me remind you of some of the features of your education system. Your Ministry of Education has responsibility for some 444 primary schools, 135 secondary schools, 103 government ECCE centers, and 58 government-assisted ECCE centers, with another 23 state-of-the-art centers. In 1956, we had 404 primary schools, 2 secondary schools, and 13 assisted secondary schools. Early childhood education was left to Teacher Tiny and Miss Pearl. While some level of the responsibility for providing school places today is shared with our partners, the denominational boards, it is the ministry which takes responsibility for the funding, the facilities, and the curriculum delivery to some 800 institutions. Ladies and gentlemen, while much has been done to expand the education system over the years, since the year 2000, the education system has been progressing by leaps and bounds. And to date, we have marked some 9 years of sustained, comprehensive reform of the education system and its support structures. One thing about education, everybody knows what to do, what to teach and how. Some feel the children have too much to do. The book bag bend in the back. A far cry from the days when all we had in our book bag was a slate and a slate pencil, a double-line copybook, and that little red reading book. Some of you don't know what I'm talking about. That's okay, your mothers know. You know, right? You know. Put up your hand if you know. Yes, yes. Not so today. Some want more foreign languages taught. You all remember when school feeding was 2 biscuits and a glass of skim milk? You remember that? Today is rice and peas and vegetables and salad. You should know that our reform initiatives in education are being shaped by local, regional, and international perspectives. We talk to the leaders in education wherever they are. Your government, like all the major countries in the world, is a signatory to several regional and international agreements which have a direct bearing on the quality of education we provide from early childhood to lifelong learning. We're not doing this thing by VAPs. We're not doing it vai. We know what we're doing. We have a plan. And so the policy of this government, rising out of Vision 2020, is to establish a seamless, high-quality education. When we say seamless, we mean you're going through smooth. You could take a break if you have to for whatever reason and come back in without missing a beat. Our national model for education, which was developed between the years 2007 and runs until 2015, it provides for a total of 14 to 16 years of formal education for every citizen, 2 years of early childhood care and education, 7 years of primary schooling, 5 years of secondary school, an additional 2 years at the sixth form level. This model sets the compass for the journey that puts us on a course for the achievement of education for all and the ultimate attainment of the Vision 2020 mandate for education. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't make it up as we go along. We have a plan. We stay in step with the best of the rest of the world. Our plan addresses issues of social cohesiveness, national unity. It facilitates the development of innovative and caring citizens with the requisite skills, competencies, and attitudes, and addresses the major challenges facing our education system. Simply put, ladies and gentlemen, the PNM's vision is for all our citizens to have access to the best education and skills training possible, whatever their age or background. I mentioned that we keep in step with the world in a global vision of what is the basis for a good education. We and others have identified areas of action for achievement by 2015. I am pleased to report that Trinidad and Tobago in 2009 has already achieved many of these goals, and we are well on the way to achieving all of these international milestones before the year 2015. I would like to share with you what some of these are, some of the major ones. Milestone number 1, early childhood care and education. We have moved from an informal system to acceptance of the state's responsibility to manage the education of our 3- and 4-year-olds. We have formalized the sector. A curriculum has been defined, and we have set standards for teaching and parent participation. Yes, parents, we're not leaving you out because you have a role to play in this. We are currently aggressively building state-of-the-art centers from Mayaro to Tobago, Chaguanas to Beach. Over 600 centers planned to cost more than $2.3 billion to construct and equip. If you have a child or a grandchild or even a godchild in a free government preschool, the annual cost of schooling such a child is $8,000.